Guys, this meeting's being recorded. My God in heaven, here we go.
Da-da-da.
As we were talking about just before I hit the recording, I'm getting ready for my motorcycle trip, which is a week from this Tuesday. How freaky is that? I mean, it's like I just turned around. It's a week from this Tuesday.
Yeah, it's August already.
Yeah. So I've got the bike serviced. I bought a brand new tire on my ride last year. Took it in to get it a oil change and had a big old freaking nail in it. So they put a new tire on it. So I had a brand new tire again on the back. Front tire looks fine. The bike really sits heavy to the back.
Yeah.
It goes through that back tire about 8,000 miles. Seriously, that's
Right.
about all I get off a back tire.
Yeah.
I'll double that on the front tire. And in packing, I thought, a lot of people are doing trips and stuff, and I wanted to talk about packing. The hardest thing for me is deciding which cameras to take. You know, you you kind of. There's Sid. Glad he's here. We want to check in with Sid on what he does when he's out and about. So my big thing is, what cameras do I take? Because on the bike, I don't want to take anything that I don't need.
Right.
That anything that I would that's heavy or something to move around to get to something else. So what I've been doing is taking my Nikon DF and the 24 to 120 lens.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be a good, safe kit in that I do have a wide angle lens and I have a bit of a telephoto lens. I think this year I'm going to give my DF a rest and take a Nikon D750, the 24-105 lens, a fast 50, and that's it for my 35 millimeter gear. I've never left without a second body. I'm not doing that this year because it never gets used and it's just a big hassle.
Worst case scenario, you can always use your phone if you have a problem with that, with the way the iPhone is, so you still have a backup.
And I take my little Lumix as well. That's the one that goes in my pocket if it's just a little shot that I want to do. I'll take the Lumix out and do that. I do have my iPhone. Last year I did the entire trip on iPhone. I won't do that again. There were missed opportunities for various reasons, and I won't do that again. So that's the D750. Those two lenses. Um, Have any of you guys ever had any luck with the doublers? I remember I had them back in film days. I had a doubler, but I don't know if they're any good anymore.
I was just going to ask you, it depends on the how fast is your 24 to, what is it, 24 to
F4.
105?
It's a 4. That would move it to a
8.
6.3.
Yeah, well, it doubles it. So
Be an 8.
They double it. I thought they
Yeah.
did one and a third. No,
it
okay.
depends if you use a 2 or a 1.5.
I would use a 1.5.
If
That would
if
give
you have
me
enough light, it's fine.
that'd give me
If you
180 millimeters. So
if you have enough light for outside stuff and the lens is a normally fast focusing lens, then usually you're okay. I
well,
tried it with an 80 to 400 and it was too slow. It couldn't find anything.
yeah, I'm worried more about the autofocus than I'm worried about the exposure because I can always go ISO 1600 on a D750 and be decent. But I don't know, f8. I don't know if the camera's going to have much luck, hunting and pecking and stuff if it's dark. We've
Yeah.
added darkness to the thing. Plus, it's a really dark lens.
When I went to Maine in October, I had the 80 to 400 that I rented and a 24 millimeter and the 2x converter because I thought the 2x with the 400 would be, great to get 800. And I tried it one time. And after that one time of trying to use it, I didn't use it again because it's just too slow with that
Yeah, I
lens.
imagine on a sunny day, if you're on, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you want to shoot those, bighorn sheep or something that are across the canyon. It might work okay, but
Yeah.
I'm not thinking it's going to be in the kit. I do take a flash with me. Take a little flash. speed light. I haven't used it yet, but I've always got it with me. I think I'm going to use it this time. I'm going to find situations to use it in, and make sure that I have that covered. I'm also taking a camera film body. I'm going to take my F3 film body because it's the smallest 35 millimeter film camera. I have all the other ones. The you shoot Nikon, Kevin?
Yeah.
So you remember the F4s, right?
Yeah.
That thing's twice the size
Right.
of my DF. I mean, it's like a medium format camera. It's so big and super
And
heavy,
super heavy.
really heavy. It's got 8 batteries in it. I
So
mean,
does your F3, you don't have the motor drive on it, you're just shooting? the
I took it
bottom?
off. I took the motor
Yeah,
drive
yeah,
off.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot smaller than
Yeah,
the
I'll just
F4.
go ahead and flip it with my finger.
Yeah,
With the motor drive on it, that's another 8 batteries. It's got the
Right.
drive and the whole bit. And I thought, plus I don't want to shoot. I don't want to go bang, 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 bang like I used to have to go bang, bang, bang. I
Right,
just
right.
want to take a picture, click, and move on.
and move on, right?
Yeah. So that'll be that. Peripherals are a tripod. Got a great little tripod that goes right on the bike. It's got even a little place where I put the tripod on the bike. A couple rolls of film, cards in 2 different places. So if I screw up and lose a card, I've still got cards, somewhere. The D750 has a double card slot. First time I've ever had a camera with a double card slot.
I've got 3 of those now.
Can you shoot to one or the other, or is it always shooting to both?
No, you can assign how you want it to be done.
Okay.
So I shoot to one card and then use the other card as a backup, or not as a backup, but if I fill the first card, then it automatically goes to the second card.
That's what I'd like to have, because I use small cards. I think I've told you guys. I
don't like using big cards.
Yeah, I use 32 gig cards.
Right.
Really do. I mean, if that card comes out corrupted and I can't replace it, I haven't lost 800 images.
Yeah.
So
I was when I got my Hasselblad, they were trying to sell me the 128 gigabyte card, and I said, no, I'm not doing that, because it's just
you got too much of your life on 128 gigs.
Yeah.
So
and I understand the files that I'm making are bigger. No, I don't care. I use more of the smaller cards.
I take a couple of 1 gallon baggies in case there's rain. I can put the cameras in the baggies.
Yeah.
I have a dry bag for my gear that goes behind me. So it's a real dry bag. So I open it up and put all my luggage and everything in the dry bag, tie it up, and then tie the bag to the bike.
Right.
And that keeps me from being worried about the rain. But it's a real minimal kind of kit, guys. It's really minimal. It's like, what's the bare necessities that I need for this? Last time I didn't have a 50, and I really missed having a fast 50. I really missed having. So the 50 will be on the F3, and the zoom will be on the digital camera, and I can switch them if I need to. So
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll take the F4. Every once in a while, when I remember that the F3 is manual focus, so there's a you can screw up your lens mount if you don't flip that little thing up. If I'm excited about something, I'll flip the little tab up. I can screw up my lens mounts. Maybe I'll take the F4, whatever. That's it. I also have to have a kit that's small enough to either put on my shoulder and carry it, or lock it in the trunk. And I don't like locking it in the trunk because my trunk's made out of, I don't know, it's made out of the same stuff like Legos is.
Anybody with a sharp knife can get through there.
Yeah, pretty good. I don't think they need even a knife. I think they just bump it with their ass and the thing it opens. So I do wrap 2 metal belts around it with a lock, but that wouldn't take them long. So I can't leave my bike and go for a 4-hour hike.
Yeah, right.
I can't do that. If I'm between point A and point B, I can put everything in the hotel room.
Or something. Sure.
Yeah, go back out, and that's not a problem. I've got saddlebags on the side that are, I've got hard bags on my bike, not soft
Right.
bags, hard bags. So I can lock those up, and they're pretty secure. I mean, if you'd have to have some tools and some time to get into them, but I don't keep anything in there that's mission critical or that I
It's
can.
just the worry that you have when you're gone.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
I wanted to get off the bike in Durango and go and find a book for my wife, but I looked around and I thought, I can't leave my bike parked here on the street with all this stuff on it. So
Yeah.
Sid, when you go out traveling, what do you do for camera and stuff? I mean, I know you're kind of like me, I'm a former studio shooter, so I got a lot of crap.
Yeah. So originally, we back in 2001, my wife and I drove across the country. We did a big circle, and it took us 2.5 months. And I wish I had brought the camera equipment that I have now back then. We didn't shoot as much back then. When we go out now, I used to be one of these idiots that had like an entire trunk full of gear. And, like we'd get somewhere and my wife would be like, oh, this is a nice location. And I'd be like, okay, stand right there. And then I would get lights out and I would get my camera out and I would get all this other junk out and umbrellas and soft boxes and blah, blah, blah. My wife is standing there and she's like, you know what? Moment's gone. So now I try to like if we were going to go to Acadia again, I've got a little X100, a little Fuji X100 that I love. The picture quality is incredible.
Is that
I kind of like.
Can you change lenses on that, or is that the one?
No, it's a fixed. I think it's a equivalent of a 35 f2
35?
or something like that.
It's full frame, right?
No, APS-C.
Oh, okay.
So it's a smaller sensor. They look incredible. The files look incredible, and I kind of like working by those constraints, being like,
Sure.
okay, I just have this
Sure.
one thing. Although, it's I don't know. Like I'd like to bring a 4x5, but realistically, I don't know when I'd actually get around to processing the negatives. So I've been trying to pack really lightly. That little X100 is great because I can just sling it around my body and we can go hiking with it. And it's small enough that I can keep it in a cargo pocket if I want, and I can just pull it out and start using. So yeah, I think. And then my wife, we used to bring, she's got a 4x5 pinhole, a wooden pinhole camera. And she would always be out there making long exposure shots and stuff. But again, it was just, she would get back and then we'd get so busy and I've got a fridge full of film holders that haven't even been developed yet. So I like, I need to, if I get overwhelmed. So if I bring too much stuff, I'll just open the back of the car and then I just stare at it for 20 minutes and I'm just like, and I don't actually end up taking anything. So if I just have one thing, I'm like, okay, this is what I got. I got to work within the scale of this. So, but I don't know. So the reason why I'm a little late is because I was just outside with this behemoth. I had heard a rumor about a guy locally that was making dry plate negatives. He was making dry plates. And so I just had a meeting with this guy. I don't know if you can see, this is his business card.
Yeah.
He's 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes down the road from me. And he's going to be opening a retail space in the next couple of months. Bostic and Sullivan stocks the dry plate negatives that he's been doing, the glass plates. And then the other place, Freestyle has been stocking his stuff. And somebody gave him my name and we were just outside running around with these beautiful glass coated things that he's been making and selling like crazy. So he's moving on to a retail portion. And so I think I'm going to be working with him by the end of the summer, which is really weird and kind of crazy. In fact, we're going to run back out. I got to cut this short because we're going to run back out and play around some more. So I don't know. So I might try to reteach myself a little bit and maybe I'm going to have boxes of dry plates that I can throw in this thing. And he makes those. And then he's patented his own dry plate 4x5 film holders and stuff. It's crazy. This guy was like right down the road. I had never heard about him. And then all of a sudden, like this afternoon, we just crashed into each other and, you never know who you're going to run into. You never know who's talking about you, right? Like it's nuts. So that's very exciting. So I'm actually popping in just so I can say hi and I'm going to go out and I'm going to go play with him and with this and go check out his future retail location and stuff. But I wanted to make sure I mentioned it in case anybody shoots 4x5 and they want to get into, and it's nice. So he got into this because he loves wet plate, but he doesn't like the chemicals. And he figured out, he just got back. He was on the set of the new Martin Scorsese movie. They had brought him in as a consultant so that they could do dry plates of the images that are going to be in this movie or something. He was telling me all about. It's crazy. It's totally crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Picto. I don't even know how you say that word. Pictorico Graphica. If anybody's into 4x5 and they want to play, the nice thing about dry plates is that you can shoot them and then you can just leave them and you just develop them like a regular negative. So you don't have to worry about like the wet process where you have to do it instantaneously. And the look is like, he was showing me some of the final things, and they look almost like wet plates, only they're on glass. They have that same sort of look. And he's got two emulsions that he's done where one of them kind of gives you that 1800s kind of soft, dreamy kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then he's got another emulsion that gives you sort of like a 1900s, more finely detailed, sharp thing. Like, where'd this guy come from? Like, just out of the blue, like, oh my God, like my world just got rocked.
Great. Boy, yeah. Get an interview with that guy.
Yeah. I'll try to get him on one of these.
Yeah, I'd really be interested in picking some of that up.
Yeah, he's a fantastic dude. And I'm so excited. It's our area. Our last photo store closed 10 years ago, and there's been no place for photographers to go, like a mecca for photographers. And like from all the discussions I was just having with him, like that's part of what he wants to do. He's going to have 2 rooms where he's going to do darkroom rentals, and he wants to do memberships. It's mainly a place where he can go.
I think it's a great idea.
And he's got so many orders. He needs to move stuff out of his kitchen. And he's got back orders from Freestyle and Bostic and Sullivan, and like, he can't keep up. I think he said he's in his 3rd year. And I think he said he's up to 50,000 plates that he sent out. And some guy from in the observatory out in California that uses like that big Hubble telescope. Originally, they used to use dry plate to make photographs of the stuff that they were pointing at. They found out that this guy makes plates and that he can coat like 20 by 24 inch pieces of glass. And now they're ordering stuff, and they're breaking out all the film equipment that they used to attach to their telescopes back then. Wow. So that they can start taking crazy. And this guy is like right here. Like, what? Crazy.
You know what? And the group that I have over at Mighty Networks, one of the things we've been talking about is that 10 idea a day thing that James Altucher talks about. You get up and you write 10 ideas. They don't have to be good. But a couple weeks ago, I wrote 10 ideas for a new kind of photo store. Phoenix has Tempe Camera. We're very lucky to have Tempe Cameras, one of the best camera stores around, and it's still going. And it's still going, I would say, fairly well. I mean, it's not like it used to be, but it's going fairly well. They got a lab that's handling stuff from all over the Southwest. But I'm thinking something like a guy in Chandler opened up a place where people could come and learn photography. So he's got like a little classroom. He's got a dark room with 4 enlarger bays in it. He's got a couple of E6 machines, old. I don't know how they're probably spit gum and
right. Held together with gaff tape and the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
And a couple little shooting spaces. And he's so busy, he's going to expand.
Yeah.
And you look at a place like where you are, it's not a really big city. It's a medium-sized, it's really kind of a town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you think
moderately sized city, but yeah.
How many people do you have to make this thing be pretty successful? And the answer is not very many.
Right.
Right. Because we talked about that last time we was in Maine. Like, how far away from Portsmouth are you, Sid? Like, how far?
45 minutes. I'm 45 minutes southish.
During the summertime, like during the wintertime, there probably wouldn't be very much going on. But during the summertime, you know, with the right marketing and stuff, you have all sorts of tourists that are going to be going into the White Mountains, and
Mhm.
you know, they might need camera maintenance, they might need a rental, they might need some film, or
Yeah.
you know, anything like that. Or you could set up excursions, you know, take them out for a weekend. Like, you want to go see the White Mountains, I know the spots, you know, stuff
with-
like that.
With film sales outpacing year after year after year, they're selling more film this year than they sold last year, than they sold the year before. There is a major resurgence in the interest of it.
Mhm.
And the people who are dealing with it have money. You don't go to film if you're broke.
Yep.
It's not the place you want to be.
Yeah,
So-
he was telling me the figures, the numbers and the figures on some of this stuff, and I was just, yeah, it's climbing back up. So
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And that's something I would throw out to all of you. I mean, if you have prospective business partners or something, you know, somebody looking for you, and that gentleman said you guys could end up, down the road, little corner store that's inexpensive to rent, because right now there's a lot of empty space out there.
Yep. He's going to
Um,
have a retail portion. So he's going to sell film. He's already been talking to large companies about stocking, you know, different types of 120 and 35. So he wants to make a place where, and it's going to be all film. So digital, he's not going to offer anything digital. He's a total film guy. So he wants to offer film sales. He wants to offer, like visiting artists so they can do workshops. He's got a small section that he's looking at where he wants to do just film based galleries and shows.
Wonderful.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good ideas. So I think if he's, he seems to be matching up with the right people. So that's good. So I think it's gonna be kind of exciting. But I gotta run. I wanted to pop in and say hi to everybody. But I gotta sneak out of here. So I will see you
All right,
guys
go
next
make some
Friday.
Friday.
Yes, I'll talk to you
Appreciate
guys
it.
later.
Yeah.
And I'll try to see if I can get him to come in and visit.
That'd be
That'd be
great.
All right.
Take care.
Ciao. Have a good week.
Yep, you too.
You know, when I think of going on my motorcycle, the vision I have in my head is a smaller camera. I've never had a Leica. I never owned a Leica, but in my head, I own a Leica. You know, it's like when I stop on my motorcycle and take a picture of something, and I think I've got that great big DSLR in front of my face.
How
Really?
about an FM? Do you have an FM or an FM2?
Nope, got rid of those a while
That
ago.
would be perfect without anything on it. That'd be perfect.
Yep.
I got an FM2, I think. I'd have to look. I forget, but I think I do have one.
Fabulous camera. They cannot be destroyed at all.
Yeah.
Want to borrow it if I got it?
What's that?
You want to borrow the
Oh.
FM2 if I got it?
No, I have plenty of cameras to shoot.
His
Well, you know
problem
what?
is trying
Yeah.
to figure out which one he wants to take. Don't
You-
give him more to choose from.
Hey,
I
it's
don't think I
America.
knew.
We
I don't
need
think I
choice.
knew a pro that didn't have an FM.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew a single pro that didn't have an FM2. I knew Canon shooters who had an FM2 and at least one lens. Does anybody know why?
Yeah, because you can continue to use it if you blow your battery.
That's reason A. Yeah. What was photographic reason?
Hmm.
It had a 250th of a second flash.
Oh yeah.
Ah. My F3 has an 80th of a second flash.
Yeah.
second. That was top of the line camera back in the day I
Yeah.
bought it. So yeah, you got a whole nother stop and a half of flash tank.
Yeah.
All the difference in the world. And the reason was the shutter was vertical rather than horizontal.
Right.
It
Yeah.
went the shorter distance. Why that never caught on is a mystery to me, an absolute mystery to me. I don't get it. My goal is to get up to same place I was last time, up on Beartooth. That place for a motorcycle was too much fun to just do once. So I want to be back up there on my birthday on Sunday, the 8th. But my biggest worry right now is the smoke coming from Oregon. Apparently that smoke is getting all the way back to Boston and Washington D.C. and New York City.
We've got a haze out here from it.
Yeah. We don't here in Phoenix. We don't because the smoke's blowing up and over, up through Canada and down, and we're out of where we're not getting it at all. But if that happens, I'll just have to think fast. I am not booking my hotels all the way out. I'm just not going to do it. But and I do have to do hotels, guys. I don't camp anymore. Any of you guys camp? Does anybody camp? Do you camp, Mark? Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Do you?
going in August camping for a week.
I love to camp if I can stand up in my tent. If I can't stand up in the tent, it's really hard for me to scoot around on the ground. It's just I'm not limber enough, I guess, to do that. You know, getting down on all fours and crawling in the tent, and you know, it's tough. So
Yeah.
I ended up just sleeping in my clothes. I just sleep in my clothes because, you know, trying to put my pants on, laying down on an air mattress, so you put your
Yeah.
elbows down and it sinks in, and there's
Yeah.
no leverage. So
I've got a little teardrop off-road camper that I pull behind my FJ, and I can sit up in it. I can't stand, but it's a lot better than getting on the ground.
yeah, I'm looking at those. We're looking at those. I don't think I'm going to get it for the bike, but I definitely think my wife and I are looking at some of those little pop-up teardrops that.
Yeah,
will-
and the galley's all in the back of it. It's really, really nice.
Yep.
So for two people, it's perfect. And then I put a rooftop tent on top of that. So if the grandkids come, I just open that up and everybody's good.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You talking about an FJ? Is it a Yamaha?
No, an FJ is a Toyota FJ Cruiser.
Oh,
Great little off-road vehicle.
That'll be the day I can't hold my bike up. That'll be my next thing is
Yeah.
something to go off road. It's getting harder and harder to find places to camp, though. Getting really, really hard. I know the East Coast where Mark is. I was blown away. If you're in Maine, there's no place to go camping in Maine except the KOA campgrounds. Practically, I mean, there's very little BLM land.
Well, it's the state parks. If you
So
go to
you
the
got state parks and KOAs, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. There's very little out here, Mark. You can just pull over.
Yeah.
You know, take
I
a-
don't think
take a
there's
look.
any BLM land on the East Coast, is there?
I don't think so.
Well, West Coast stuff.
Yeah, I think you start getting South Dakota, North Dakota, down through Colorado. You know, there's some in Texas. Arizona's got quite a bit. We've got 3 great, big, huge national forests. But if there's national forests, they can't stop you from camping, but they can stop you from having a fire,
Right.
obviously.
Well, right now you should be having a fire anyway, anywhere.
No.
You're just idiotic if you do that.
But you know, when I camp, I don't do the whole breakfast dinner thing. I don't. I stop and get a sandwich at Subway, and I go back to camp and I eat that. I don't want to sit. I don't make food. You just
Yeah.
attract the wrong kind of attention doing that. I also don't camp where there's either. I like to camp either where there's nobody
Nobody.
or a KOA where there's everybody. Safety wise, you know, you get out and there's, you know, like one other guy across the valley in a camper truck. I mean, that makes me really nervous.
Yeah, the place that we go is a state park. My mom used to go there when she was a kid, and I grew up going there. It's nice. So you don't have to worry about animals or anything like that. Maybe a skunk or a raccoon, but you know, no bear. Everybody kind of looks out for each other. And
No, there's a YouTube video of a guy on a motorcycle camping, filming with his little camera, his little GoPro out the tent while a grizzly bear tears his camp apart.
Yeah, I know.
He never came to the tent, but he, you know, it was just, Well, he wasn't on purpose. He was just a great big bear walking through camp, knocking shit over.
Yeah.
So that would be a little freaky. That would be a little freaky. But here's a question. National parks. How many of you guys go to national parks to take photographs? Because I seldom do. I figure they've been done.
Yeah.
That may be
Too
right
many
or
people.
wrong. Okay, I will instantly say that may be a problem for me. Maybe I need to get over it because there are beautiful pictures taken there. But you know, when you're walking down the path and you're having to say "excuse me" as you go around people,
Yeah.
that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, there's too many people, and I don't end up going anywhere in the summer really, as far as just to go away because it's too hot. I wait for fall.
Yeah, we're doing. My wife and I are doing a great big trip in fall. This one's just me on the bike for 10 days, maybe 5 days up to Cody and 5 days home.
Yeah,
So
I don't even ride the bike in summer anymore. It's too hot.
well, I was really thinking, Billy, as the temperatures were climbing here in June, I was thinking if I could even go or not. Now they've all, gone back down to normal temperatures. So once I get out of the valley, I go up through Payson up to 40 on Flag and then across the Indian Reservation. That's the hottest I'm going to be across the reservation. Once I get over to the Vermilion Cliffs, get up into Kanab and that, all the way up, then the highest I'm going to get is about 85, 87. But 3 weeks ago, they were getting 105 degrees up there. Ely, Nevada, which is rarely over 85 degrees in the summertime,
Yeah.
was 106.
Yeah.
And so they were hitting records. And I thought, I don't ride a motorcycle when it's 106. That's like having an air fryer. What do you call those? Deep air fryers or whatever they're called. Yeah.
I like to dress properly as much as I can, although I've ridden who knows how many times with just a t-shirt. But the problem with going out in the summer is I can't begin to dress properly because it's just way too hot with a full face helmet on.
Yeah.
It's miserable.
I got a Harley jacket that's reinforced and it has all the net in it, and it's not bad at 90 degrees. It's not bad at all. But there's nothing that's going to save you at 105.
No.
Nothing. You're going to just bake.
Yep.
So,
Do you have the guards inside the jacket, like for your
guards on the elbows,
spine and
guards on the
stuff?
wrists, guards on the shoulder here. I think, yeah.
Spine?
Guard in the back.
What's that?
A guard in
Spine.
the back for the spine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not hard like my riding jeans. I actually have hard ones that I put in the little inserts and they're stiff.
Yeah.
It's not hard, but it's reinforced Kevlar.
Right.
So I just read an article that says everybody's becoming less creative, which I found interesting. And it had the words studies say. Of course, anytime I ever see the word studies say, I kind of like that's a strike one.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea who did the studies or who paid for the studies or what the studies were designed to show. But they do say we spend too much time behind a screen passively. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Passively using our tools, but the same tools that we passively use, we can also use to become more creative, like Photoshop and, write instead of just read everybody else's stuff, write stuff, that type of thing. So we'll see. So what do you guys plan? What are you guys planning for the summer? Especially if you got something planned photographically.
Well, once the doctors give me the go ahead, and it probably won't be until October, but I'm going to go to the Eastern Sierra and spend some time up there shooting. I don't know what the color is going to be like because they didn't get any rain, but it doesn't matter. I'm just still going to get out there and do some shooting when I can.
I absolutely love that area. Butterfield, Mono Lake. God,
Yep.
incredible. So, have you ever done Sonora Pass?
There's some old ghost towns that are behind Bodie that are really, really cool. And there's a whole lot of groves and stuff back there that
What, east of Bodie?
they would be east of Bodie, yes. Yeah, and that's BLL land. And I mean, you can go from there all the way to Hawthorne, Nevada, if you want, and follow. There's a river that goes down through there. It's just gorgeous. So
Wow,
that's
neat.
what I'll probably do in October.
There's a town, for those of you who don't know what Kevin is, what Bodie is. It's a little town. I think it was deserted in the early 50s. But
Right.
when it was deserted, it was already pretty much a quote ghost town.
They had a big fire in the 30s that knocked out like 70% of the town.
Yeah, it was a huge city. For California, it was a big town. Bodie was a big town.
Yeah, big mining town, gold mining town.
Yeah. Now it's of course in the middle of nowhere. It's like I think it's like 15 miles of dirt road off of 395.
Right. 8,700 feet, so it's above the tree line.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's dishes if you look in, there's dishes in the cupboards, and there's still food stocked on the food shelves. At least there was the last time I was there.
Yeah.
And Kevin, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I was there, maybe 2-3 years ago, and it's the same. You know, they're just the state is letting it decay naturally, but they're keeping everything as preserved as they can. So nobody goes in the buildings. You got to shoot through the windows, that kind of deal.
Yeah, when I was there was a guard, or national park person there. There was when I did my architectural portfolio, when I did my architectural promo, I took pictures of Bodie, because there's a place in Bodie where there's like 3 2-story houses or buildings, right?
Right.
And they're all leaning this way.
Same way, right?
They've got. I don't know if they've got them. Yeah, I bet they have them now, but they probably have supports to hold them up, right?
They probably do now. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they were leaning, and I took photographs of those 3 buildings and a photograph of a house that was slumping, just slumping down, and that was my architectural photography. I said something like, your architecture may not last the test of time, but the photographs will.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a job from it. I got one job from it. I
There you
also
go.
had people tell me I was crazy to do it, but I didn't care.
What the hell? Totally
Yeah.
different.
If somebody doesn't tell me it's crazy to do something, I'm not sure I want to do it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to be in Goldfield, Nevada in about
Yeah.
3 weeks. It's got less than 300 people living there.
Yeah.
It's warm, Billy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's warm. You're right on the edge of Death Valley there.
Yeah.
There's a little town. What's the name of the little town right there on the freeway?
Beatty?
Huh? Beatty.
Yeah.
You want to stop and get check out Beatty, man. It is awesome. It is really retro.
Yeah.
There's a place there called the Beatty Opera House that is pretty fun. Yeah, Goldfield's fun. You can walk around there and the whole bit, but
I'm staying at the motel they have in town there. It has a whole 7 rooms.
yeah, there's a whole shit ton of them.
The Santa
A
Fe
whole bunch of
Saloon.
them. And you're coming over. If you're in Beatty, you're coming over much north. Oh, you're doing 50. That's right.
No, that was the motorcycle trip. I'm flying out for the Vegas to Reno race.
Oh, okay.
So the starting line is not too far from Goldfield.
Wow, that's hot for a motorcycle race.
It's a desert race, primarily off-road trucks
That's
and
hot.
motorcycles. Yeah.
So
Well, the desert in August.
that is the kind of desert that we would call unforgiving.
It is.
It is an unforgiving desert. The rocks, Mark, you guys are up around the Smoky Mountains, right? Not too far.
Appalachian.
Appalachians.
Yeah.
I'm by the Smoky Mountains.
Okay, Smoky Mountains. So when I was in the Smoky Mountains, one thing I noticed about a lot of the rocks and stones in the Smoky Mountains, where they were rounded,
Yeah,
they were weathered, right?
yeah.
When you're over there, there's nothing weathered.
It's
You
sharp.
you could fall on a rock and have it stab you. I mean,
Yeah.
literally break the skin. They are sharp and jagged because there hasn't been enough elements, there hasn't been enough rain or wind or whatever to take them down. Some of these places look like they probably looked 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago.
It's a very unforgiving environment.
Yep.
That's what
Yeah.
makes it so challenging.
Absolutely. Why, nobody wants to do it in the middle of
They have an attrition rate of approximately half the field does not make the entire course.
Yeah, and then being from Maine, when I went to my military job school, it was in 29 Palms, and I was out there for like 5 months, and then we spent a couple months in Yuma, out in the middle of the desert on field exercise. So it was very different being in that environment after
Yeah.
growing up in Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
You
very.
know, I've lived in Charlotte for quite some time, in the East Coast my whole life. And you leave this area and fly out there, it's just like the opposite end of everything. That's, I think that is so cool like that.
It was very funny. The first night we got into the school at 29 Palms, they bust us in at night, and the school barracks are up on top of the hill. So we were up there looking out over the balcony, and you could see like way across the desert, and there's like all these lights and everything like that. So we're like, that's not too bad. That'll be cool. And we wake up in the morning, we look out there, and we're like, where did all the lights come from?
Yeah.
They're just traveling from all over. There's nothing out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I was telling someone yesterday that I have been working for 10 years, and it's been on the hold because I haven't been back east, but working on a portfolio called Reclaimed. Okay. And so if you're in Ohio or like where Lee lives in Kentucky and place, if you abandon a building, Earth takes it back in a short few years. They get back and
Can you wash that line, please?
not right now, baby.
I
In a
thought
few
you were
minutes.
playing
In
the
a few
game.
minutes. Yep. In a, the kudzu, the other thing, just boom. I mean, there's places along 66 in Arkansas where you can see that there was a gas station, and it's probably still there. It's just covered, right? Out here, you walk away from that house, come back 30 years, it's pretty much like you left it. There might be some, leaks and stuff like that, but the earth doesn't reclaim it out here like it does back there. And that was something that was really fascinating to me.
Yeah, the barns out here. Although there's been a big push for people wanting to build stuff with reclaimed lumber. So a lot of those old dilapidated barns are being like they're letting people come in and take the wood out, selling it to them, and then they use the wood.
Sure.
So some of the old barns aren't lasting as long as they used to.
Hmm.
Yeah. Kevin, you've taken that drive from LA to Phoenix, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Just outside of Quartzsite, there's those buildings on the side of the road.
Yeah.
They've been there since I was a kid.
Yeah. They'll probably be there for another 50 years.
I'll be gone and they'll still be there.
They'll be there.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. There's a range of mountains that go right along the Colorado River on the Arizona side, most of the way up, and then they move to the California side up around Needles. They are so rough, so rugged. There's nothing. There's no roads through there.
Yeah.
There's no. I mean, they don't even go backpacking through there. It is absolutely wilderness, rugged area. Nice cookie. Good job.
Don's Daycare Center.
Are you
Yeah.
you
talking
ever-
about us, or are you talking about the kids behind them?
Have you ever been to Nelson, Nevada?
No. Nelson.
No.
Where's that at?
Nelson is an old silver mining town about 25 miles, 25 miles or so away from Boulder City. You start heading down towards Laughlin. And once you're on 93 there, you only go 15, 20 minutes and you hang a left. And it'll bring you through Nelson, which has like maybe 10 people living there, literally. And you keep going east and you ultimately end up at the Colorado River on a bluff that's maybe a couple hundred feet in the air. And you just, at that point, you're at the river, although not at the water level. And you just look out and you can see all the Arizona desert there. It's really gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. I've seen pictures from there. I've seen pictures from Nelson, and someone just recently did an article on that overlook. It's really high. You're way up high. And when you look to the other side, that stretch of road that goes from Kingman up to, well, Boulder City, basically up into Henderson, Nevada, that is some of the most literally desolate desert you will run into on the planet.
Yeah.
There's places where there's not even cactus growing, nothing.
Yeah, I drove through that whole area. We went from Boulder City almost all the way to Kingman. And then jump back over on the Nevada side again. It's empty there. But you know what? There must be some population going there because there was, I can remember at least one or two brand new gas stations being built, big ones, lots of pumps.
Because the vegetable has
Yeah.
ironic energy.
Yeah, you get up into that part of Arizona is pretty sparse. You got Kingman and Oatman and places like that, but it's pretty sparse. Once you get north of Las Vegas, about 60 miles, now you're talking sparse, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's beautiful. It's so mountainous. Nevada has the most mountains of any state. And most people don't know that because all we ever do is go to Las Vegas where it's flat. And we think, oh, Nevada must be flat. No. It's all high desert. Most of Nevada is under 80, 85 degrees in the summertime. It's only when you get down, down
Clark County.
Las Vegas. Yeah, Clark County pretty much. Up to Tonopah maybe. But yeah, it's really, really beautiful. So I'll
Once
be
you
there
get-
next week. 2 weeks from now, I'll be going through Ely and Wells, and then I have to make a decision when I get to Idaho whether I'm going to go up and ride across. You've heard of the Lolo Highway, Billy?
No.
Yeah, it goes from Lolo, Montana, which is just south of Missoula, over to what would it be? I'm trying to look at the biggest city, Whitebird, Grangeville, maybe. It goes over the top of the mountains in the Nez Perce Indian Reservation. And what it does is, if you start in Lolo, you climb way up. I was there in August 2 years ago. And by the time I got to the top, I had broken out my jacket. It was that cold.
Cool. Yeah.
And then there's a place where you stop and there's a little bitty lake about the size, maybe it's an acre lake, really just beautiful, idyllic. And there's a stream coming out of the lake. By the time you get down the mountain below, it's a roaring river, probably 300, 400 feet across. And you follow that stream becoming a bigger creek, becoming, then there's 3 or 4 other rivers that flow in it. And the road just follows that river. It's watching a river be formed right in front of your eyes in about 45 miles.
That's amazing.
And there's no straights. If you ever look it up, just look at Lolo and go west from Lolo. You'll see the road. There's no straights, man. It's all big sweeping curves. It's just so much fun.
You know what's an interesting little town too? It's Caliente.
Oh, I love Caliente. Great Mexican food in Caliente. Woo!
Yeah.
I've had 4 meals in Caliente. 4 meals, tacos, every one of them at 4 different restaurants, and they were all incredibly good.
Yeah, baby.
And you get up around Mesquite, and they have the Virgin River going up through that area there, Utah and northern Nevada. That whole river area there is pretty nice too.
Yeah. Well, when I go on my trips, I try to take photographs wherever I go, but I try not to make photographs that everybody else makes. And sometimes that's hard when you're when you're in Glacier National Park. The only places you can pull over are pretty much where everybody else is pulled over. So
Yeah.
we get those same shots. So
Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
We gotta wave to 'em.
I think Kevin's joined the mafia.
Yeah, that's my grandson coming to say hi.
Now it's my turn to do the meeting. Bye.
No, it's not.
Ow!
Come on. We're almost done. 10 more minutes.
Boy,
My turn.
that background, man, that background's weird. He's sort of like floating in and out like a ghost, you know.
It's a Twilight Zone background, and he just lost his grandchild in it.
Come on, don't disturb.
Well, anybody have something to share? Anybody else have something to share?
Stop.
We're talking about the glacier stuff and like how you have the same pictures as everybody else.
Mhm.
That's one of the reasons why I've really enjoyed doing the night photography and trying to get the Milky Way and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Because
It's a-
where I can show them the picture and be like, you're not going to even be able to have a chance at taking that picture until March, and everything has to work the right way for it to line up. Like knowing that I've got a shot that they have never seen before, and they may see it again now that somebody's done it. Somebody might try to reproduce it, but having something unique like that.
We'll get that to
everything that is ubiquitous is of less value,
Mhm.
right? If it's like we've talked about the the bend in the Snake River right by the Tetons. That is literally a pullover. It's a pullout. You can pull out there. And there's last time I was there, there must have been 50 photographers shooting it, even though it was midday, bad light, no clouds in the sky, boring shot. They shoot it, but there's no point to it, right? But because it's so easy to get to, I don't know if it has that value anymore. I don't know if a picture of a Horseshoe Bend on the Colorado, Grand Canyon Horseshoe Bend really has that much value. You'd have to get something pretty spectacular because it's been done before by some pretty spectacular photographers.
Right.
So when I go, I just do a record shot. It's like, yeah, I was here. I'm doing cool, It worries me in a way because I don't know what's going to happen to our photographic. My granddaughter, if she picks up a camera by the time she's 25, what's it going to be like? I don't know. I really, really don't know how it's going, because the West is the Wild West, but it's not anymore.
No.
Yeah, you can get into parts of Nevada where it is. You can get parts of Montana where it is, but it used to be New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana was the West. And now, everything's just become homogenized. And
Well, you can remember if you took car trips with your parents when you were a kid. I can remember going from Jersey to Florida, and you would hear different radio stations play different types of music. Now
people wore
today it
different
doesn't.
clothes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter today. What I hear in Charlotte, I hear in Boulder City, I hear, in Arizona. It's the same everywhere.
Yeah. And we know the other thing is we didn't move around that much. And so when you take like Ansel Adams photographs, right, when they started becoming popular in the 50s and the 60s, part of the reason they were popular is nobody had been there.
Yeah.
People living in New York City hadn't been to Yosemite. That was a trek. You had to fly and rent a car, and it was everybody and their brother. Instagram has a gazillion pictures of Yosemite, uploaded every day, kind of thing. And I hope we don't lose our fascination with those places. Doesn't look like we are, because for the first time ever, Glacier now requires a permit. You have to call in advance and get a permit.
Really? That's why you're a candidate for commercial space travel now. Not everybody's done it yet.
Yeah, well, I'm not a candidate for it, but other people can do it. I think it's
Let them go.
pretty cool, but not, I'm never going to do that. I'm setting my sights on the stuff that I really, really can do.
Yeah.
My wife has
I
never
think
seen Yellowstone. I definitely want her to see Yellowstone.
I'll never see space either, but I think I think the future for that is incredibly exciting.
Yeah,
It's the beginning of space travel for people.
yeah. And that's another thing, that when Sid was talking about that gentleman with the dry plates, anything you can do photographically in any visual arts that is different than what everybody else is doing,
Hmm.
Yeah.
like you said, that they do that race in the unforgiving desert, because if they did that race on a park here in town, you wouldn't have half the people drop out. You want to
Yeah.
have half the people drop out. The people who win big, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing in photography. Digital photography is, as we all know, very, very easy.
Yeah.
Compared to where it was when we didn't know what we had. We'd come back from 15 weeks on the road and take our film out. We didn't know what we had. We were hoping like crazy that it came out, and then we hoped that the lad wouldn't screw it up. It's so much easier. So if you are starting to create an art branch of your commercial work, to me, one thing that makes sense, perfect sense, is to do it on film, because you've just said, okay, I've created this image. Yeah, it's kind of like the one I did on my digital camera, but I had to go get film. I had to control the ISO. I had to process this film. I had to print this thing 5, 6, 8 times before I got it locked down. I made this. This is handmade. If I have 50 of these 16 by 20s, black and whites, and I've printed all 50 of them, no two is going to exactly match. They're going to look the same, but they don't exactly match. You print them on a good inkjet printer, and all 50 of them exactly match. So there's that one of a kind thing. There's that done by hand thing. I'm not hawking film as a gee, you're really cool if you shoot film. I'm really talking about from a commercial aspect, from a marketing aspect. It just makes sense to me.
Mark, do you remember the film developing people? The name was Mystic, up in Mystic, Connecticut.
No.
I'm a lot older than you, but I can remember putting my Kodak Instamatic cartridge in the mail and sending it to Mystic, and then a week or whatever it was, 10 days later, you finally got to see your pictures.
Yeah, I'm probably older than you think I am, but no,
Go ahead.
just did film in high school. We did black and white when I was learning, and we developed it ourselves. And then I had gotten out of photography for forever, and then didn't get back into it till digital was already coming out. So I have a shot. I was gonna say I have a shot planned that I did not get to pull off because of the weather didn't work out. I don't know if you can see or not, but it's Marshall Point Lighthouse. And then with my photo pills thing, you can do like an augmented reality. So like where that dot is right there will be the center of the galactic core. And then the lighthouse will be right there.
Uh-huh.
So it'll be like the Milky Way coming down through there. But I only had one night that I could have gotten it last time, and it rained. So
When I was a kid, I used to hold my Instamatic, the lens, up to my telescope, and it happened to be the same size. So I would wrap electrical tape around it my father had, where the lens met the eyepiece of the telescope, and then take pictures of the moon. And they came out pretty darn good. I was amazed. Of course, I was a little
There was
kid.
once a lab in Orange County that was 68,000 square feet.
Wow.
Photo lab.
Now he's out of business, probably.
So it was an entire unit in one of those big, what do you call them? Industrial complex. It
Yeah,
was an entire unit, 2 stories high, and all they did was process film, make prints, finish off prints, mount them, that type of thing. It was just one building that big. That's how much work was going on over there. I'm absolutely sure they're not in business anymore. Absolutely positive. Or if they are, they're just much smaller than that. Anything that's scarce is more valuable. It's true.
Elon Musk ended up putting up a lithium-ion battery plant over in the Reno area. And if I remember correctly, I mean, it's hundreds of thousands of square feet to build lithium batteries.
Oh, I imagine.
Difficult is clean.
What's that?
It was she had her mic unmuted. She muted it.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. Thanks.
Deal. Good meeting.
Thanks for coming out. Great chat. I love these informal things. We really do.
Yeah, they're nice.
And invite again to anybody who doesn't have the link. It's over on the Facebook page. If you're not over on the Mighty Networks page, get over there. Let's make that a really going community.
Okay.
I love it. There's no ads. There's no tracking. It's just our place. So make it happen. And on that note, I'll let everybody go. Have a great one. We'll see you next time.
See you
Take care,
next week.
everybody.
All right,
Bye,
bye-bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.